Hi, welcome back to TAZ's Wig Closet at Wig Studio One. Today, by popular request, we are going to break down and look at the similarities and differences between the Noriko REESE and the Noriko REESE PM. You won't want to miss these details coming up. I purchased both of these wigs with my own funds from Wig Studio One. Expand the description box below where you'll find a link to both of these products as well as the other Noriko styles, and there's an automatic coupon there for 30% off. We invite you to shop at Wig Studio One. Feel free to contact us anytime by emailing support@wigstudio1.com. Noriko REESE is one of Noriko's most popular legacy styles. I think that's why it comes in so many different options. Today we're going to examine the regular REESE, just the traditional cap REESE, and we're going to compare that to the Reese PM. And you can also purchase this style in a large size. So all of those links will be below if you want to explore more detail on those. But today we're going to take a look at those too. Now Reese is just a short, shaggy, tousled, edgy, textured piece. I think it's really popular because I can see this just being flattering to so many face shapes. The length is right, so it's very easy to wear, and I think that these fibers are so durable that it should last a long time with proper care and maintenance. And it comes in a lot of different color options. So this is the standard REESE by Noriko. It just has a traditional cap. I have it here in the color Butter Pecan R, which I have reviewed before if you want to check out that review. Now with the standard cap like this, there's a closed rose net top, open wefted sides and back. There's a lot of permatease on REESE. It gives it a kind of a very voluminous look on the top. Now I have worn this one for the review and one other time, and I can tell you that the permatease has already begun to settle, because when I first set it on my head, it kind of had that mushroom head look to it. But I have experience with these styles and I know that it does settle pretty quickly. So right now it's a voluminous style, but it's not big, thick, and mushroomy like it was when I first set it on my head. So I think we're all curious to know how the Reese PM stacks up to the REESE in terms of how the style looks. So Noriko REESE PM. Now the PM stands for partial monofilament, and I'll show you these details in a moment, but you would expect a wig that has a partial monofilament front and side part would lay a little bit differently. It might change the style a little bit. And if you're used to wearing a traditional REESE, it's very nice to know in what ways it will be changed if you go to a REESE partial monofilament. Because we all know that some monofilament features added to the cap give it a little kick of realism, and the hair does seem to lay a little more naturally. So I want to point out a few things before I move on to the partial monofilament. You're looking at about a 5 to 5.5 inch fringe. Now that's layered all the way down. So anywhere from 4 all the way down to this layer here, which is right around 7. So it is a nice razored look. It frames the face beautifully. Typically you would part this on the side, although there's no designated parting space. And that just, that fringe just sweeps over the forehead, over the eyebrow, and back into the style. I think it's pretty easy to wear. My favorite way of wearing it is tucked. REESE does amazing ear tucks. Go ahead and change into the REESE partial monofilament and explain that to you and how I think that it lays a little bit differently. And then we're going to do side-by-side comparisons as well, so you can see them both at the same time. I think that's most helpful. So here is Reese PM in the color Champagne R. Nice, beautiful, cool platinum with a darker root. Now this is right out of the box, so I haven't given it the benefit of the doubt by wearing it yet. But you can see that it's the same general style. It kind of has that poofy, voluminous top like the one that is the standard. So what you have here is a partial monofilament. It stretches from temple to temple and then works its way back into a left monofilament part. This monofilament part is hand tied. It's not a lace front though, so be very careful not to confuse this with a lace front, because then when I show you the inside of the cap, there's a bit of polyurethane there at the front. I don't think it's for comfort or security. I think it's just to kind of bind that monofilament to keep it from fraying and things like that. It's just how it's constructed. So again, no lace front, but you do get the monofilament features, which gives you a beautiful illusion of natural scalp. Here's an inside look at the cap for a Noriko REESE PM. Again, the PM stands for partial monofilament. So what you'll see that is probably 2/3 of this entire top piece is covered with this monofilament material. It's a thick, stiff monofilament, and that does reach back to the crown. It has a very wide mouth and it's very deep. Now this is not a lace front, so you'll see a little seam there. It looks like a little polyurethane strip right there at the front. That's not so much for comfort and security as it is to kind of bind that monofilament to the front of that cap. So what you'll see is a little brush of fiber there at the front, just giving it an extra natural looking hairline, but that gives it a nice realistic look. And then everything else is the same as the regular REESE. So you've got the open wefted sides and back, closed ear tabs, lots of fibers spliced in, an extended nape with bra strap type adjusters. Again, I feel like the best fit here would be your petite to average, although it does have some stretch, and I've heard that Noriko can really mold to the head over time. It does continue to stretch, but I have no way of measuring anything beyond a 22-inch circumference. So how does this change things on the style? First of all, anytime you have a monofilament as opposed just to a permatease top, it's going to lay a little flatter in those areas. So you will expect there to be less volume at the front from here to here and all the way back. Okay, so the hair is going to lay a little bit differently. I think that although it's not a lace front, I think that because of that monofilament stretched along the front, that it lays more naturally at the front hairline. I also think that this fringe is a little easier to manage because there's not all this permatease that's creating a puffy look at the front. So that's what's different about the look of the REESE PM as opposed to the traditional REESE. Now, there's still a lot of permatease on this style, so don't expect the PM and expect there to be a lot less permatease, because honestly, there's just as much permatease around that monofilament as there is throughout the top of the traditional REESE. So you're still going to have that voluminous look, okay? And that voluminous look is going to be all through the top and crown. And the way this style is cut, it kind of gives you that a bulbous look on the top. It will settle. I know this from experience. And the way I like to style it too is, you know, I do a lot of tucks as I mentioned, and I think it always looks cute in a tuck. And it also reduces volume in areas that I need it reduced. Now, all the other measurements seem to be the same. So like I said, that front piece, doesn't it lay just a little more naturally? It hugs the head a little bit better. It has more of a natural movement at the front. Plus, for styling, it's going to be awesome because you have that illusion of scalp. But it's just as wispy. So it's obviously the same style. So don't be afraid to purchase the PM thinking that it's going to look a lot different, because the ways that it does look different is a good thing. So a huge difference between the two, and this is definitely something that you're going to want to consider before making the investment, is the partial monofilament worth the extra investment? Because the regular REESE is around $150 retail. And then the partial monofilament REESE is $280 retail. So a huge price difference. So in my mind, I might rather have two regular REESEs instead of one partial monofilament, or I might like a partial monofilament and a regular REESE so that I could, you know, on special occasion or whatnot, without changing my look at all, just add in that little bit of extra added natural touch to the style for a special occasion, you know, a weekend. So let's go ahead and do our side-by-side comparisons. Take special note of how the hair lays around the face, you know, the general shape of the top and so forth, because I think that's where you're going to see the most noticeable difference.